Hi, it's Cece Strong with Spilling the LT, and today I'm drinking out of my mug that said "Mama needs some coffee." I'm drinking tea though. I'm learning to actually use herbs and roots and all that type of stuff to create my own teas. Much healthier, and you just feel better overall. So, what you work on the inside is just as important as on the outside. But I felt the need to make this video because of some very emotional, very interesting conversations, outreach from people who constantly are saying that they're dealing with some of the same things. It's pretty sad that there are so many people that have an understanding of what is going on in law enforcement today, yet we seem to stay stuck in improving it. Here's what I mean by that. It's pretty sad when I have people telling me, I understand completely what you went through, because back when this election happened 20 years ago, someone experienced exactly the same thing. Or, hey, I remember working at this assignment and this particular supervisor would play favorites for the people that they like. It's the same theme and it's on repeat. And how do you go about fixing it? The whole idea and concept of spilling the LT for me was the LT part is because lieutenant is the rank that I last held before retiring this past February. But prior to all of that, in October of 2021, I was placed under a fake investigation full of fabrication, chock full of lies, and actually multiple people willing to jump on board to help cement what they thought would be pretty much the downfall of my career. And to be quite honest with you, that's exactly how it felt. I called it a derailment because out of nowhere, all of a sudden, the train came off the track. I didn't know at the time that maybe it was nothing absolutely to do with me, but the fact that people will use platforms, positions, ideas, their feelings about things to actually disrupt the lives of others. Some people literally make it a mission to correct people about everything. You see it in postings. People jump onto a thing that you post, and before they even know all of the story, they're already giving you a solution. We do a whole lot of commenting, but not really paying attention. October of 2021, and it took until April of 2025 for the truth to actually be exposed. And along the way, I lost friends. I lost the ability to actually work in the position that I was doing very well in and making some huge changes. It was never restored back. And just it being exposed didn't take or give anything back, take from them and give it back to me, in a sense. It was all a take. They took their time getting to the point of this decision. They took their time giving me my evaluations, which the three that were late at the time that all this unfolded still came back even years later as outstanding. They couldn't even make their own lies stick. They just kept piling on more and more and adding more people to the equation. The sad part about it is quite a few of those people added were executive level supervisors. They're still making decisions today about people's jobs and their lives. And because, hey, we were able to do it to her, what's to stop them from actually coming for you? I say that because no one is immune when people are on a mission to do you harm, when they're on a mission to not be exposed, when they're on a mission to get promoted. And when you have a promotion process that is simply who you like or who you want working for you, this is bound to happen. People don't like for me to say it, but I was accused of even using my platform in order to support my husband's run for sheriff in 2021. 2022 was the actual election, but all of the stuff kicked up in 2021. Ironically, the same year that I was placed under this investigation out of the blue. But it had been building even before that because I had 7 supervisors in a span of 3 years. I call it supervisor shopping. I need to find the supervisor that is willing to drag her name, to help fabricate this case, and to do her dirty. Well, that supervisor was bought and paid for and was also willing to do just that. She would take me on a course of anonymous lies that then, right in the same breath or in the same time frame, she would give me names that were attached to these anonymous complaints. So to those who were witnesses in the case, it was playing both sides if you really think about it. You see, she had to try to make me believe that she had my best interest at heart. But I think it was more incompetence. Because anyone sitting and saying, hey, you're being placed under investigation because of anonymous complaints, or I had to counsel you because of this anonymous complaint. And then when your shock is not lining up with their words, you then say, well, hey, you don't believe this, but, and they give you the names of the people who are complaining. That's a liability issue all the way around and a shameful way to supervise. These are people that are running organizations that have the potential to take lives. And yes, we talk about it in locker rooms. We complain about it to our peers and our friends. But what do we really do about it? I remember having a commander want me to change a report. And it was like, this happens all the time. In essence, I'd have to lie on the report because it wasn't really what happened. She and the captain below her were protecting a sergeant. And here I was as a lieutenant, full aware and everything on camera for them to see. And yet, hey, because of my title, I can wave my magic wand and get people to do whatever it is I want them to do. Problem with that is that I was unwilling to compromise my integrity, my honor, my courage, all of the things that are fine plastered on walls and on murals and in discussion, and especially from podiums when people are trying to win your vote in whatever the election is of the day. But what about the behind the scenes? I didn't speak about being an officer. It was not necessary. I didn't post about being an officer. It wasn't necessary. I was busy trying to do right by the people that I touched on a daily basis. I had no ill intent. Let the punishment fit the crime. I believe people who have committed crimes should serve time. If they have legitimately done something wrong, there are consequences. But trying to earn this bravado of I am this big bad person, I wear a badge and a gun, that's something that you're missing. And you're missing the point. That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. And I'm okay if people see it differently. But the sad part about it is law enforcement is not getting any better. And as they keep spilling one LT after the other, and you insert whatever rank you want to into that, we all lose. You lose good people who want to do the job well. You lose people who are truthful and honest and wanting to do right by those who are harmed. You lose all the way around because you don't support your people. I like to say, miss me on the whole wellness piece of things. There's no idea of really caring about someone's wellness, or you wouldn't make up a fake case about it. And while I'm on the subject of that, you, as the person in charge of the overall operation, would never be aware of that and yet let it keep going. Except for gain. Except for avoidance of exposure. Except for masking and continue to layer and do the wrong thing as opposed to doing things that are right. I remember so many people along this journey who had so many comments to say, who had nothing good to lend, but always had something that was like correcting me about what happened, as if they had lived it. One of the biggest things and the biggest problems to me with humans overall is that we spend a whole lot of time being right about the wrong things. It's right because I say it louder. It's right because I push. And while I'm on the subject, one of the things that actually was really interesting in this whole piece was the immediate thought that I was trying to actually support the election and not the fact that the election was how this all got started in the first place. Add to that a bitter human being with a grudge from many years ago who did some really foul things. And yet they didn't want to own that because guess what? We just need to be louder about the wrong things. We need to be right about the wrong things. We need to tell someone what they should and shouldn't do at every turn. You can see it. Social media happens all the time. You'll see a pile on of people when whatever the post is, someone steps out of the full agreement. We don't think for ourselves. I can remember a time when I was sitting in the watch commander's office at one of the jails. And all of a sudden, the radio crackles, and I hear recalcitrant nurse. Now, they would call inmates recalcitrant when they were not following direction. And the whole point was to try to get someone there to calm the waters or call a supervisor to the location or let them know that something is not going on too well. But imagine you're hearing that about a staff member. My image was that two people that work for the department might have been in a fight. That's a safety issue, considering how the jail was set up. I think I cleared both my desk and the conference room table, sliding like I was going into home plate, and I beat a whole lot of the younger deputies running to get to that location. I'm holding the door and telling people, go ahead, run, go, quick. We take the stairs, we get up to the floor where this is all happening. I have a nurse on one side and some deputies on the other. I ask what happened after separating the two because I want to get the full story. No one's bleeding. No, there was no active fight when we got there, but the way that the call came out should never have come out that way. I remember the sergeant who was with me at the time telling me, hey, the deputy said that this is what happened. And she was upset with me to a certain degree because I said, okay, well, let me also talk to the nurse. The whole point was that the deputy said it, so it had to be true. I never operated that way. And it wasn't an offense to those in uniform. Hey, I wear the uniform. The whole point was that I didn't have the whole picture. I suspended that thinking and simply had a conversation with the nurse. Shoring up this story, making it, speeding it up a bit. What was on camera, because we're able to roll that back, lined up exactly with what the nurse said. And I found out that the deputies were enjoying themselves, having a good old time, and delaying her trying to do her job. See, the mature thing is exactly what I did thereafter. Call these people into the office and address the situation. They weren't happy. A couple of them were shocked that you, in uniform, you're turning on us and you should be supporting us when it was blatantly on camera, their wrongdoing. So very sad. That doesn't line up with the honor and the integrity and the courage and all of the spiffiness of the uniform at all. And I would challenge anyone's thinking to say otherwise. It just does not add up at all. It's sad and it's shameful. And that is not what the uniform and the mission of it should be. Not at all. And if me not agreeing with that is somehow a problem, then I missed the mark for 30 years before retiring. I totally missed the mark. I remember reporting something that was just on repeat, and I had called it in as much as I could until finally I had to bump it up a notch. And I thought that it had been swept under the rug, and I would find out many years later that it hadn't. I applaud the chief that I talked to that day for following through, for not sweeping a supervisor, an executive level supervisor's wrongdoing under the rug. Sadly, though, in my case, even though it has been exposed that it was totally fabricated and all a lie, and that my contractual rights were violated, and that I had been disciplined without just cause. Some of those folks got promoted. Imagine that. It's almost as if wrongdoing is praised. And I can tell you from experience and watching it, it definitely is supported. It's defended because the immediate need, like that sergeant the day when that call went out on the radio, is to defend the uniform above everything. It's the main reason that we stay stuck. Just like you wouldn't let your partner go into a kill zone and you'd yank them back by their gun belt or whatever you can grab. We need to learn to yank our partners and tell them, hey, you're going down the wrong road. We lose too many officers to suicide because they can't speak about it. They can't talk about it. It's muted. It's not cool. It's not bravado. It's not becoming of the uniform that you're going through life problems. So the wellness piece gets glazed over. It's not addressed. And mental illness and mental wellness and the conversations are had all the time. People wanting to fix them. But do we really? Do we want a better police department? Wherever that building is and whatever that agency is? Or are we just continuing to spill the deputies, the officers, the sergeants, the lieutenants, the captains, the chiefs, the commanders? Do we just keep the same cycle going over and over again for years? Or do we try to fix it? I need you to like and subscribe this video. And here's why. Keep that information going. Keep talking about the things that are not good, despite what negative it draws out from people. They're going to be negative anyway, right? They're going to have a complaint about everything you do, from breathing to closing your eyelids to sleeping to standing up straight. So you may as well make a difference. And the people that I am now working with, it's the same thing on repeat, and it needs to stop. This is CC Strong with Spilling the LT. Just a snippet of some of the things that I've experienced. And I intend to continue spilling the LT. Take care.